Okay, so we won't do the intro song, but I'm sure we'll find something funny to put in 5 seconds or something like that to start.
Funny.
Yeah, because now you know YouTube algorithm. You're gonna have 5 seconds of something stupid
All right.
that gets people's attention. Maybe this will be it. So, anyways, welcome to the Marketing Playable Characters podcast. We are talking about loot boxes today. We have Patrick Dean from Lemon Sky. We have Josh. Patrick, tell the people about yourself a little bit before we get in.
Let's go. Let's go. Hi, my name is Patrick Dean. You can call me Dean. I'm an FX artist, Unreal FX artist from Lemon Sky. I've been working in the industry for a good almost 10 years already. So yeah, and recently I've just started working on games. Like I've always worked on animation. So yeah, I'm making my way into games right now, going to like development and stuff. Yep.
Cool, cool. First true special guest, right? Last few times we
Hello.
had Armand. Now we got somebody who's in the industry to talk to us. So I think it's one of those things that gets talked a lot about. I think just to share some personal history, when CSGO betting was a huge thing
Mm.
on CSGO Lounge, I lost a truckload of skins
Oh,
betting,
that,
making really bad bets.
yeah, that's gonna cost a lot, right?
Oh, I
Mm.
mean, I usually bet the trash stuff, right? If I get an Asimov M4 or Op or some like
Oh, you're not
nice.
gonna trade that,
Oh
yeah.
no, I sell it straight. Like my
Yeah.
entire Steam library is made of like games I bought by trading or selling a CSGO skin. It's crazy the amount of money that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get. Like,
Like you've seen like the recent what's this like it's like a Twitch streamer and then like he just like it's like somebody like donated like 600K worth of like loot boxes and then he just like opened it
open
up
it.
and only earned, like I don't know a good 2K or something like that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. Like I always thought about doing that. And like I used to have like I wouldn't say it's like a problem, but I
Not a
promised myself
problem.
I would open like maybe 10 boxes in Counter
Yeah.
Strike a
Hmm.
month and no more than that because that was 80 ringgit or at the time was 80 ringgit. Now it's
Hmm.
like 110 ish ringgit I think with adjustment for inflation. But
Hmm.
it was one of those things that caught our eye, and I mean it's an ongoing battle. It's a struggle, right? Because the thing is, kids go out there and like once they get their parents' credit card number, they go and buy the entire library of Mobile Legends heroes and skins,
Yeah.
and the upwards cost is like a couple of grand. I've heard of kids going out there and just blowing wads of money, like
Yeah.
10K USD on some I don't know what and what game it was at the time. It was a while ago, but it's mad, right? Like one of the things that came out of that was that Australia started labeling loot boxes as gambling,
Mm.
and apparently in Belgium it's already in effect.
Mm.
Now you must get some sort of parental guidance when opening a loot box because a child cannot be a okay, not a child. A a person under the age of 18 cannot make a decision to purchase a key to open a gambling loot box because of what it seems to be, right? Like in Apex, I can open as many loot boxes as I want, but I can't trade them and I can't sell them.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm just trying my luck on getting something that looks nice, right? It's just like buying an outfit from like a
Like a store, like
yeah,
H&M.
like a like H&M or they'll do like boxes, surprise boxes, and you just open and see
Ah,
what you
yeah.
get, kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it is not dissimilar, but here we are, right? That's where we are today, right? Nobody's looking to just buy a game or spend
Hmm.
money like 50, 60 US dollars on a game and have it just be complete, right? The getting people to part with money nowadays, especially for a game full price game, is super difficult.
Mm.
So I get the economics of why these loot boxes exist.
Mm.
But I was just wondering what you guys think about that because I'm obviously a prey. These video game companies are the predators and I'm giving them a lot of money. But your thoughts on this before we deep dive a little bit more?
Joshua, you wanna go first or?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think, I mean, overall, John, you're not the only one. I think most of us have fallen prey to it. As soon as we've had reached the age of being able to have disposable income, I think it's come to the
Yeah,
point where we don't have to steal mom and dad's credit card anymore. So I mean, but it's I think it could be just how basically the thoughts behind how you want to charge, right, for a piece of entertainment content. And I think for games, what we have here on our hands is very different from like music or
Oh
even
yeah,
like movies, right? It's
yeah,
interactive, it's immersive, right?
yep.
yeah,
So I think it's I would say it's a natural fit where I mean we talked earlier about surprise boxes from H&M and so on, right? So it becomes um, the consideration for cosmetics is not very far, right,
Mm,
from what we have. So but I do get that there is pressure from evolving games from just being top selling for just the first month into
mm,
something that's constant, right? Or as
yeah,
much as possible, depending on releases of content and so on. So uh, I would say it's a necessary, it's just reality right now. But I guess that's why we're having this chat today, right? It's our thoughts around what is okay and what is not okay, right?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I think like if especially if you're a game developer or like a company that does like a game or something like that, especially when you're in like a when you're doing like a free game, you need like like a economic system where it actually has like is for them to like run the game to
Mm,
continuously run the game for free. Like for example, like Apex is a free game, but
Mm-hmm.
but you still need like to make money somehow.
mm,
And the only way is just like to make stuff like cosmetics, like or loot boxes where that makes it that gives it a little bit like a surprising factor or something like that. So it makes like the person like it keeps the games running, and it keeps like people like us in the industry like like make us survive and something like that, yeah.
Gainfully employed to create cosmetics for games.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
I
keeps the
get
lights
it.
on,
I
right?
mean,
yeah.
we just talked about this in the last podcast. We kind of touched a little bit about on it in this idea that like generally coders, animators, designers, Unreal, how should I say, manipulators of the code, uh, they don't get paid nearly as much as they should. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we're talking like I remember we talked about the music industry, right? Like,
Hmm.
what you guys do is basically produce the game, right? And
Hmm.
in any case, if the game title is Eminem and the producer of the game is all the people behind it, you all like Dr. Dre, right? Someone's gonna drop the beat, lace the beat, build the hook and all that
Mix
kind of
it,
stuff.
yeah.
But I think that because we're in this society now where like even in Spotify people don't get paid as much as they should. I
Mm.
think
Mm,
what was the minimum? 1 million streams before you just start seeing a
Yeah,
penny.
something coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the contracts negotiated between Spotify and the record label, not Spotify and the artist,
mm,
Mm.
right? So the artist gets told, "Hey, you hit 1 million streams, we pay you 1 cent for every stream after that, or
Mm.
some undisclosed amount of money, right?" But however, the record label's making a bucket load of money because they're probably going like, "No, no, 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 no. Our deal with you is you get the catalog from us. Every song that plays, you give us 5 cents, for example, and we
Mm.
give 20% to the artist." It's like, what? So I think it's really interesting that we're in this kind of society today, right? Where we're looking at the situation and we're going monetization of games, and like in some cases, for example, like Apex, I feel is a little bit fair. I haven't played
Mm.
any other type of game like Apex because they say, okay, you get to 500 pack openings, and I guarantee you will get an heirloom between 1 to
Ah,
500,
yeah.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't know where you fall,
mm.
and I obviously haven't been keeping count, but I know I spent a lot of money since the pandemic playing this damn game, and I finally got one set of heirloom shards, which I went and bought a skin for and all that kind of
Wow,
stuff.
I've spent a lot. I remember I spent a lot. Like I don't play Apex anymore, but I remember spending like a lot of money for the cosmetics and also like the loot boxes.
Yeah,
Mm.
And I don't know how many I've opened, but it definitely costs a lot.
it's an addiction. Just
Yeah, it
watching that
is.
stupid triangle fall there and explode, and
Yeah,
hopefully something comes out that you want. And every time you see white come out, you're like, oh, that was a lot of money just
yeah,
spent for
yeah.
nothing. So
I think the visuals also kind of like helps like I don't know the people like it kind of like makes you want to like buy more loot boxes, you know.
Mm.
yeah.
Like it kicks sort of like kicks addiction, right? In a
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah.
So one thing that I did notice though was, you know, all this backlash about opening loot boxes and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It kind of precipitated the need or want for a battle pass
Mm.
where you're earning content within the game, right? You're not
Hmm.
earning the map. You're not earning the uh, a new unlockable weapon, but you're just earning skins for your character. You're earning trinkets for your gun,
Yeah.
or you know, you're earning enough points that further down the line you can unlock a new character if you haven't already done that.
Mhm.
That's, I guess, probably the only way, aside from loot boxes, that people like companies could sort of finance this game, right? Like, it doesn't become a free to play game after that, right? It becomes almost like a game as a service.
Yeah.
Does
Mm.
that sort of make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It does make sense. Like currently I'm addicted to Valorant.
Oh,
So yeah.
I quit that drug already.
You quit?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
dude. I went to rehab. I'm clean. I got no Valorant
You're
on me,
done. You're
man.
done.
No more shakes.
Yeah. Yeah, like you don't know how much. Like I've spent a lot of money on Valorant, like real money, because I don't know, because like each time like they release a new skin, it becomes like, oh wow, this one looks cool. Like it has like nice visuals, it
Mm.
nice have like it just looks cool in cool in general. And then like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this skin, and then I'm saying like, this is the last thing I'll buy, and I'm like, okay, but it never ends. The same thing with our Battle Pass though, is because like I realized like if I don't buy a Bell Pass every season, like I kind of lose the interest of like, oh, I have to play this game because it doesn't make sense for me to play it anymore. So each
Mm.
season I always buy a Bell Pass. But then I realized like, like what you said, like this isn't a free to play game anymore.
Yeah, it's not right. What
Yeah.
used to be what might have been a $50 or even a, let's say, 30 US dollar game, right?
Yeah.
Right, because you got to
Mm.
go in there and you buy other things. Now has become a repeat 15 US dollar purchase every season.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I wonder, just posing this question out there, I know it's not in our notes, but just sidetrack a little bit.
Let's
But do
go.
you think like the advent of Xbox 360 achievements kind of changed the way we look at games? Like now it's like, oh no, I play the game because I get the achievement, right?
Yeah.
And this
Mm.
battle pass is a series of tasks you must accomplish to get the
Yeah.
Mm.
points to unlock a sticker, a spray, a gun
Yeah.
skin, a knife skin, or you know what I mean? Like it's kind of strange, right? It's like they kind of got you like they hook you on the thing and they go like, you pay us money for you to unlock stuff, for you to
Yeah.
earn it. This is your job
Yeah.
now,
It's kind of ridiculous because now you're working for them instead of they're working for you, you know?
right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's kind of like because you got to put in the hours to unlock the content, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So it's not, it doesn't just stop with the trade of dollars or ringgit, right? It goes back to, okay, now you got to trade in 4 hours of your time a day
oh
while
yeah,
you
Yeah.
still have
oh
a
dude,
job. Yeah. So, but I mean, I think Dean, you brought up something very fascinating in our earlier conversation where it's about, um, it's about keeping the lights on. And so, I mean, it's very true, right? And it's
Mm.
about what's fair to developers and producers and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe it's kind of, I mean, because mobile has exploded, right? So I think all this started where when it comes to the mobile gaming space, it's very hard to for like developers, especially when it comes to mobile gaming, for like developers to actually encourage users or gamers to trade in or to pay for something, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's probably why free to play actually started, no? So, but there needs to be other tranches of revenue coming in, no? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the early days of mobile gaming, there was a lot of, if you guys remember this, I'm sure everybody knows this, it's pay to win, right?
Oh, yeah.
Format. So, but I think that has, I mean, it's still present in some mobile games, but for most conventional games now, I think that is taboo and that's quite shat upon, which it should be. I mean, we shouldn't. I totally agree with it. I don't think we should be paying money to be
Better
stronger,
than the yeah.
better than someone, smarter than someone. I think it's not. It shouldn't be the way of the format, but it's evolved right into like battle passes, expansion packs, to I mean, cosmetic skins is only the tip of the iceberg, right? For in terms of charging.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing. Not really weird. Okay, it's just sort of like I likened it to. I got really stuck in for almost a year for playing SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't normally share this story, but my car got stolen from my office, and at the time I was waiting on the insurance money, and the insurance money came in, and my buddies were and his wife, my buddy and his wife were showing me Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I was like, oh my god, I've never seen such a glorious Star Wars type game where I get to be a bounty hunter. So, okay, I take some of the insurance money. I go and buy myself a PC. I start playing SWTOR like it's my second job. I finish at Euro RCG or Havas now at like 6, 7 o'clock. I go home, I grab a couple of buns from some pastry shop or my mom makes something and I just wolf down my dinner, get up to the room and start doing my dailies with my crew, with my guild, and I was like, damn, I am paying these fools to play this game like it's my job. Every day we're doing dailies. Every week we're doing weeklies, and you know what I mean. Like it takes about an hour and a half to do one character at the level cap, to do all your dailies plus weeklies and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do it at a certain time, then you're gonna run out of people to play with because everybody's gone to bed in the Southeast Asian server, right? Or you're gonna pick the right time in the US server to go on, otherwise there's no one there. And it's just like, this is crazy. Like, they found a way to enslave us in such a weird sort of way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. How dare they?
yeah. I mean, all in the face of enjoyment, right? I think that's okay though. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's honestly, it's up to the individual to have some discipline. I think that is true of anything, and that is a fair statement for me to say. I think, or at least for us to admit, right? But it's just this idea that like cosmetically everybody wants something to look unique, right? Like, I remember we did a 8-man raid or a 16-man raid, and then someone came out with some fancy ass armor, and I was like, okay. So, and he was like, come take a look at my armor. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah.
I was like, this is the difference being like one of those guys who only plays PvP and then joining a guild that only does PvE, and they're all talking about like, check out this armor, and you're like, yeah, so.
Yeah. That story kind of reminds me of like this comedian that I follow. Like he mentioned about this story like in his podcast, like how like he and like his bunch of like his so they were playing this game called I don't know if you guys heard of Destiny.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Destiny, like you have like your raiding team, so it's like 6-man team or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so it's like this bunch of like 40-year-old comedians that like like after their show they just go straight home, they forget about their girlfriends, and they're like, yo, let's do the raid, and they just suck so bad that to the point where like their girlfriends ask like, why do you keep playing this game? And it's like, because like it gives us like nice skins. It tells you like, you know, it tells people apart because like you get this rare skin, and like if you have it, like you can just like, you know, brag about it, you know?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm gonna pre-apologize to anybody I know that sees this podcast and feels insulted by what I'm gonna say next. But it's almost like buying a really fast sports car or a supercar,
Yeah.
and then asking people to say, check it out.
Yeah. What do you do for a living? Huh?
What you do for a living?
I mean, it's funny because you know, in the game when you raid and you raid successfully,
Yeah.
There is a body of hard work that manifests itself in the item I recovered,
Mm-hmm.
right? And because this item is rare, because this item takes effort and time and money, uh, it's worth showing off, right? That's the idea, right? So I'm like, I don't mean to run down anybody who has a sports car. I mean, I myself have a rare sports sedan, right? But like, it doesn't matter. It's just the idea that, oh, I do want some recognition, and I think, do you think that factors into a lot of the decision making? Like, I must appear to be a little bit cooler than the guy next to me in game.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Mm.
Like when I play like Valorant, and then like I see, so me and my friends like we if like there's if other people like join our team, and like they don't have like a skin, or they have like a battle pass skin, and we're because like we buy skins
Yeah.
and it costs a lot, and when we see them we'll be like, hey, ew, what is this default skin, you know? So
You start ragging on them.
yeah, it's
We used to get guys who were like, oh, if you have a nice skin for the Phantom or
yeah,
the Valorant version of an AK,
yeah,
you would have to
bro.
buy that skin for them. They'll buy you their basic one
Yeah.
in return so that they can have a nice skin. And they're like, no, you have to have a nice skin, otherwise we won't win.
Yeah.
It's so corny though, but like
Yeah.
suddenly it became like a real. It wasn't like this in CS:GO, right?
Yeah.
CS:GO, like sometimes you pick up and you see like enemy has some nice skins. They might have a dragon lore or whatever.
Yeah.
But in Valorant, I was like, my God, every kid I play with in random pubs or like random five mans, they were like, hey, bro, do you have a nice skin that you can drop for me and all that? I'm like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure. What do you want? Me being the responsible adult, I will give you my money.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is why the CS people look down on Valorant, because of this.
This is another topic I would like to get into one day, but I mean,
Yes.
honestly, Valorant and Apex Legends and games of this nature, where
Mm,
the visuals are softer, they're more anime-ish.
yeah.
I feel like they really open the door for females to get into the game.
Yeah.
CSGO is just viewed as so hardcore male.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether I shared this anecdote before, but like NIP, the Ninjas in Pajamas,
Oh yeah.
when they were just starting out in the early 2000s, right?
Mm.
The entire squad was made up of ex ice hockey players.
Whoa.
Three of them had like torn ligaments in their knees, busted shoulders, and they just sat around playing Counter Strike 1.6 and 1.5 or whatever
Mhm.
to recover. And they used their competitive mentality and twitch reflex from being an athlete to just mop the floor with everybody. And it was just
Whoa.
like, it's crazy that that even exists. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's a topic for another time, I think. we
Segway.
Yeah, these are old stories from your. But okay, nobody wants to pay for a free to play game anymore. We know that, right? But
Yeah.
so they got their hooks in us with the battle passes, some of the skins, make it look nice, try and get us to commit a bit more money. And we talked about game passes, or like just the idea that, or like Street Fighter did, right? Season passes they called it, and then I think Forza also did season passes as well, where you get like a slew of cars, a bunch of new tracks. I think, and it makes the game a little bit more adventurous, right? So I think it speaks to Patrick, to Dean, to what you were saying about the content here has to be renewed and refreshed, and anytime there's a gap, there's a drop in audience attention, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like for example, like Apex and yeah, Apex and Valorant. Like I think like every season they'll either like release like a new agent or a new like
Oh yeah,
character.
yeah.
Yeah, or and if it's like a new map, like people get excited over it. So doing things like this, it kind of keeps the game fresh. Keeps people wanting to play. And
Mhm.
like if you compare it, like for example, like maybe like CS:GO or something like that. Like they maintain the same thing, which is a good thing. But I mean, CS:GO is still the number one playing game. Like I think still one of the highest playing games like currently. But like if you like, I think like if you want to attract like younger audiences, then you kind of need like make things fresh, like release like new maps, new characters or something like that. Something to catch the eye, keep people going, something like that.
No, I mean it's right. Because even if you look at a publisher who's like a bit of a dinosaur like Nintendo, even they're still releasing new tracks, new passes for like Mario Kart 8, right? And
Yeah.
the game is old, and they got like now you can play as the Fire Flower and so on. So
Really?
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna go boot up Mario Kart right after this.
But you gotta pay for it, dude.
I have. You mean that's a DLC?
Yeah, but you gotta pay for
Oh.
that DLC. Yeah, so
I'm gonna do that.
no, but I think it's like and the same thing that we were sort of speaking about, right? It is kind of. I mean, yeah, of course, it's about maintaining interest, right? But it's also fair compensation that none of these things were done free, right? So development hours went into it, thought processing, even testing. Everything needs to be, all this is chargeable, right? So I mean, I think in that sense, it's fair on that amount, but as long as it doesn't change the core value of the gaming experience. Yeah, so I think blocking off someone off of a certain track, for instance, you don't have access to this because you didn't pay for it, is one thing. But for instance, giving someone an added advantage to the game is a totally different. So what is beyond just cosmetic, right? Yeah, if it hits performance.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Dean, give me the fly on the wall view on this. So I imagine that because obviously I've never worked at a game studio before, I can only imagine the presentations that happen in between meetings is like, okay, we launch this game, we contract with another studio to help us do some DLC work and all that kind of stuff, and then they project how much money it's gonna make, and is it based on how many people buy the DLC? Did they pay you guys, or they just go, this is the net amount you have to pay us, and then we just do the work? How does that work in general?
I think like to answer you, like, oh well, I mean I don't get any money from this from any like from any like client or whatnot, but I can just assume from what I see, like business wise, they'll give you like a certain percentage of I think like if the game does well, like if it wins like best game award or something like that, I think there's a little bit of like what do you call it? A check or something like that, a bonus, an added bonus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay, so that's incentivized royalties and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't think it would be that much because like how do you say it? Trickle down, like it goes through like a lot of like different people, different departments and something, and usually like artists will definitely get like the last bit of it. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I think like that's how it works. But yeah, companies will like hire like I mean like clients will like hire like companies like Lemon Sky and like or other like animation or game studios, and yeah, they already have like this budget, and it's like, hey, you want to do this game? Like, I'll pay you this much, and yeah, it's very client based, I can say.
I wonder. Because I always thought about like, I can't imagine what it's like for a company to take a lot of risk, right? Like, I think, sorry, I keep burping.
Sorry.
One of the games that I thought was going to be really good, and I was in it on the ground level, was Lawbreakers. So it was done by somebody who, I don't know, did Quake or something or whatever. And it's like a 6-on-6 or 5-on-5 like futuristic, not so tactical deathmatch shooter, right? That also features low gravity environments and all that kind of stuff with gravity environments, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their launch window was the same as Overwatch, which had beat them to market a couple of months earlier. And the sad reality was that everybody was like, this game's just like Overwatch, and Overwatch is like, it's by Blizzard, it's going to be good. And in spite of that, everybody knows Overwatch is not the best game ever built.
Yeah.
But because of that, Lawbreakers literally died on launch.
Mm.
I paid the money, and there were no servers that I could play on in Southeast Asia, and literally within a month the game was gone.
That's
Mm.
horrible.
And I was like, that's crazy. Like, it's in a sense that it's okay because they got money to pay to build the game, right? Some
Yeah.
people actually did pay for the game, and they would have received some monies to pay off some of the work. But I can't imagine a free to play game going that route, right? Like they a free to play game, and then on the day it drops, it dies. I can't imagine
Mm.
how many
Mm.
people are out of work, how many people don't get paid. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like, I'm sure they get paid, but they're probably relying on this idea that there's longevity to this and there's recurring job with this.
Yeah.
But then your studio has to transition out of that. Is that something that like happens a lot in the industry? Do you feel like, or have you experienced something like this?
Um. Well, well, I don't really experience like this firsthand. I can say I'm quite fortunate because a lot of my friends have been through this. Like
Oh,
we have I think like a few years ago there was like this studio which I shall not name.
Mhm.
So they did like this huge feature animation in China, and like I think like there was like just some bad management, and they like had to close down the company, and a lot of people don't get paid as much.
Oh no.
I think like they don't get paid like a couple of months or something like that, and till this day, they still haven't gotten paid. And yeah, and like uh, um, for us, like what I experienced like throughout my uh, through my work experiences, like it's I'm quite fortunate to be with clients that like that actually continues, like they actually like our work. And
Mm.
yeah, and like I remember like we did like 2 seasons for like this Nickelodeon project, and yeah, and we were never out of jobs. Yeah.
cool. I did take a look at the Eleven Sky website. They did some Street Fighter 6 stuff, some Warcraft 3 Reforged. I was like, oh, there's a list of games here that you guys worked
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
I was like,
basically
okay.
any new games, we there's some names, there's some Lemon Sky people in it, you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But that's the amazing stuff that you and the rest of your team have been building up over the years, right? To be able
uh
to keep them coming back.
yeah, definitely. It's the sometimes like if you think about it, like, oh, projects are pretty cool, that keeps us like coming back. That's like it's like a bell pass.
Hmm.
It's like a bell pass,
I
you
Come
see.
know.
back for more.
Yeah. Like we're burnt out, but like, you know, the projects keep us stay, you know.
But there must be some really tight deadlines, right, on this whole thing.
Yeah. There's definitely like some projects can be like short deadlines, so you know we want to like uh sometimes like we'll have to like do crunch hours and such. So
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it's not an easy like road to go through. So yeah.
I think I remember like one of the things that everyone says is wrong with Apex is that like
Mhm.
every time there's a new season update, there's some new bug like
Mm.
waiting to affect the gameplay and all
Yeah.
that, and it takes like forever for them to fix it. I remember there was one time Loba couldn't teleport.
Oh,
You couldn't get the bracelet to fall wherever you wanted, and she just wouldn't go. And I was like, "This is my favorite character at the time."
yeah.
I was like, "I need this to work."
Yeah, if you need to fix it quick.
Yeah, it's like her main tactic is to teleport between places, right? Like,
Yeah.
I,
God, I miss Apex.
yeah, come back, man, anytime. I'm trying to get the diamond this season, but so we'll see. Um, we talked about quite a lot of things already, actually, and I'm just wondering, like, games as a service and all that kind of stuff. I know it keeps people employed, money in the pocket, kind of thing. I understand that there's a need for battle passes and all that, but I don't. Has anybody sort of gone in there and just sort of lately? Do you know of thought of a new way of doing things. Like I have here in my notes, like Stadia is dead, but
Stadia.
I
What
was
is
trying to
that?
remember what we were talking about, but I was just like, I guess they were trying to change the game, right? Like they were trying to take this weird
subscription model.
yeah, Xbox Game Pass on like crack, right? Like
Yeah.
and go with it. And I was just like, one, I don't think the internet's fast enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't know how they're gonna make
Thing on the cloud, right?
yeah, cloud-based gaming. And how much do the developers really get paid from a service like that? You know what I mean? Like, it can't be much, right? Like, has anyone tried to approach you guys for things like this? Like, put my stuff on Game Pass, but you know, does it really get picked up? Does it really get downloaded? Then you don't really see the money trickle in versus somebody just saying, okay, I'll list your game for $5 on Steam, and everyone buys it on Steam sale, and you get some money in, right?
Yeah. To be frank with you, like because like we're really artists, so we I think like this goes to like coders also, like people who like code or develop the game. We don't really see the money.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely goes like it goes to the higher ups, fund the company. But in exchange, like if the studio is good, like for example, like Lemon Sky, like if we have a lot of good projects, um, they keep us like in a very safe environment, a very comfortable environment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like hearing
So yeah, like we have like a nice couch. We have a nice like
that. Nice couch, he says.
yeah, that's all we need.
You're making it sound like it's a HR.
Yeah, dude, it's
you're
like
reading from them.
he works in the Lemon Sky Gulag, and
Yeah.
they gave me a nice couch.
Bananas in the afternoon, some munchies in the evening.
It's like you don't get cheeses, you get super ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but again, like our studio is really cool. Like it's very cozy. Like we can afford like almost every software that every artist needs. So yeah,
no restrictions there, right, on ability, right?
yeah, no restrictions there. So yeah, we don't see like like if we work on like a game that has like bell pass and stuff, or basically a game that makes a lot of money, we don't really see that money, but we kind of get like maybe at the end of the year, maybe a bonus, or we get like
That's always good. Yeah.
yeah, a good company trip. Yeah.
You guys get company trips?
Yeah, once every 4
Anyone
years.
from advertising.
Oh,
You guys
once
know?
every 4 years is not much of a company trip.
Yeah, it's not really a company trip. But...
Okay. So,
No, I mean we can we kind of touched on Stadia, right? I mean, if we
Yeah.
want to speak a little bit of it, I mean, just some quick thoughts, right? I mean, I think the difference. I mean, maybe back then it was a great thought, right? To be able to stream games and to play games on the cloud and so on. I mean, it's a great idea, but I think at this point in time, our tech is not up to scratch yet. In the sense that it's different from Netflix or even like Spotify, because those types of content, it's manageable enough to be able to have that translated from a cloud experience. But when it comes to gaming, where everything is about performance, right? Everything is we're so we're into the experience, right? I think that's why, and plus, not everybody has 5G, the elusive 5G, and I mean it's not up to scratch, dude. I mean, I think that's why it didn't pick up. No, so having to, I think the thought there is that while some ideas are good in that you pick up from adjacent type of industries, but there needs to be a proper recognition of, is this the right time, and do we have the right technology and tools in place to be able to do it?
Yeah, and I also felt like maybe going back to what we talked about the last time is about having intellectual properties and all that kind of stuff, right? Like Google Stadia didn't have shit. So why would I even bother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, the Steam Deck is here, the RG Ally is here. If I want to take my games on the go, why do I need
Yeah, I don't need
Stadia?
that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, my Samsung tablet can play PS2 games For
Yeah.
God's sakes. I mean, like, okay, it doesn't do a very good job, but like, good enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so now I'm wondering, like, what's it like for marketeers of these products? Like, can you imagine being the marketing team for Stadia? He was like, "Hey guys,"
I hope they got paid.
I was like, "Did nobody tell them that the middle parts of America don't get internet as like?" You know what I mean? Like, they don't have internet penetration like most of Canada or something like that. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, that people don't consider all these things before they go and invest $1 billion US into something that's going to fail. I
Yeah.
mean, Google could have just started its own studio with that money and just supplied games, right? Like, wouldn't that just be better? Like, Netflix just acquired a bunch of game studios, right? And a bunch of small titles and all that to run on their in-app game server thingamajig that they have.
Yeah.
It's just strange that
They just have too much money to spend
right.
on.
I
Yeah.
think they're just like, yeah, this is a tax write-off. We started a new business, it failed.
Yeah.
No, but John, you brought up a good point, right? I mean, if the question is why didn't anybody within the food chain say anything? And food chain, I'm including people like us, right?
Mhm.
Where we are communication midstream specialists for companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, that's just the reality of life, right? I mean, sometimes even though it's smack in our face,
Mm-hmm.
but I might get killed for saying this, but it's not viably smart to say anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You get what I mean.
Mhm.
So I think maybe that Stadia situation, maybe everybody saw it, but like the rest of us, I mean, if there was, I don't know who the agency was, they probably saw it, but like, you know, the client is Google, they're
like,
paying really well.
don't
We
say
can
anything.
afford
It's not a great idea, but it's
Yeah.
okay. Don't tell them.
we can afford night ties this weekend.
3 months later, Stadia, it's here. 2 months later, Stadia, it's dead.
It's the-
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's not. I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just trying to. I think my point is that it's sometimes I know in reality there's a lot of things we see, but in actuality there's nothing much that we can or should do. Is that fair to say? I don't
Yeah.
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The idea is like it's like I don't know how do you say it? Like maybe like it's like an NFT, you know.
Mm.
The idea is there, like, oh, that's we have this idea where like you can buy like crypto, but it's like I don't know, like an image or something, an object or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it only lasted for what, like a good like half a year
Oh,
or
dude, it's still
a couple of
going.
years.
People are still buying that stuff
Yeah, they're
now.
still buying, but
Yeah.
where's the value in it, you know? And it just dies off like real
That's the
quickly.
thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, guilty as charged. I have a VV account for collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, I've never been able to buy anything
Mhm.
on the minute it drops because
Yeah, they're always sold out or something.
yeah, somebody's got a way faster connection than me, obviously. So I don't get like the things I want. But
Yeah, they probably have Stadia too, you know.
Probably just sitting in their cabinet somewhere.
and like so many people buy all these NFTs, and I'm just wondering, like, well, I get the concept. I just don't get the shine on it. Like, I went with my boss to the Singapore NFT Digital Art Festival, right? And we went through the entire thing together. And then at the end of it, he just pulled me aside and said, "What'd you think of it?" I said, "That's a lot of money to spend for a bunch of screensavers." It burst out laughing.
Nobody says it, but it's true. It's like a bunch of
It-
Yeah, no, but
It's
I
true.
gotta tell you, those are the nicest screensavers I've ever seen in my life. But
sure.
but you know what,
That's
the thing
the
that
best
was,
looking angelfish that I've ever seen.
but that's the thing, right? It's like it was art for the sake of art, and it was devoid of meaning because it was like I could create anything, I could do anything I want. So I just do a montage of things and make it trippy and all that kind of stuff, and then, but what's the art saying though?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And like, why am I paying the money for it, right? I guess. So, but I like that question though. I mean, like the idea of NFT coming up and all that, because I know a few people like Justin, our ex, the guy that used to work with us, Josh in Lion. He's now with a company that's trying to monetize your gaming hours by infusing crypto and NFT into it or something like that. And it's apparently like this new thing where Web3 gaming is about you earning money on the crypto blockchain while you
So,
grind your hours in gaming.
sign me up.
So, so making someone work for you but not paying them real money, right?
No, it's like no. Now you game, and instead of you pay to play this game, but their game pays you back
In crypto.
in crypto. Is my
You see, I think
understanding.
okay, dude. I think that's the. I mean, it's fascinating. We brought up that we're talking about NFT now, right? Because if it's about value, uh, I think a lot of it now is future proofing, right? Because with the NFT crashing several times last year, and
You mean
I think,
crypto, not NFT.
sorry,
Yeah.
with crypto, right? Because I think people just don't fully understand. I mean, a lot of us, I include myself in it, don't fully understand the value of it. And I think that's why it's maybe one of those things where it might get revived or might get full blown again in a few years' time. But I mean, to be, I don't know.
At its current state, it's still not stable yet.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I had a friend, an ex colleague of mine, say it out loud. He's like, "Why am I working for a crypto company?" It's like because they pay good money, and I believe in that there is something worth doing in this company and building it up. And he believes in what it's supposed to mean, right? Like this decentralized economy, this idea of a single type of currency, so it gives fair wage to everybody, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Then 2 months later, his company goes belly up, and he goes, "Well, I guess there was no one smart enough to continue the conversation past what we could do, right?" Like, and I was like, "That is, it sucks though, right? Because he's also got money in it. He's lost money too, right? But that's the shitty part, right? Like, it is new. It is like a .com kind of thing. It'll ebb and flow. It will fall and rise. I think, just like anything else, right? It's just like the current way of economy and stock exchanges. It's not. It's not a. It's not like. It's not a guaranteed win. There are stock markets that don't deliver.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They under deliver. Their ETFs suck or whatever. But that was I like that. That was a nice segue, like, or at least a nice offshoot, because the thing is we've seen it with CSGO, right? I think CSGO is probably one of those few games where they did so little. They only had
Yeah.
like 5 operations in the 11 years it's been out. That's really sad because the operation lasts for like 4 months, and they do it once every 2 years or something like that. And it's super sad. And the only thing that kept that game going is gameplay. People just like the feel of the game.
Yeah.
They like the mechanics of the game. They didn't try to do too much, and you always get the same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
the same few maps, and I'll be honest, like Counter Strike's probably one of the most watchable esports for me.
Yeah.
Aside from Street Fighter, where you get a real good chess match, kind of like Daigo versus like Tokido or one of the other Japanese gods, right? Like, but CS:GO really had that sort of very watchable basketball-ish type of game.
Yeah.
I guess I mean I think you're right because maybe with CS it's because it's kind of like quick and dirty, right? It's good quick and dirty, you know.
Yeah, and the learning
Yeah.
curve it's low, right? But to be great, you
Yeah.
really got to get to
gotta
that
be good,
upper
yeah.
echelon, right? It's one of the few games that can get away with that, right? Like we all thought that after the VAC ban, no one was going to come back to this game because they got rid of all the cheaters, but they still came back. I mean, not the cheaters, players, and and I was thinking like, there's no way that it could last this long, and it has without battle passes, on the
Yeah.
back of just some cosmetic stuff and all that kind of stuff, and the fact that people just love to play this game like they love to play basketball. And
Yeah.
I'm like, when we talk about game shelf life nowadays, right? It used to be like on my Super Nintendo. Okay, I get Super Metroid. I finish it 5 times, and I go like, okay, I like this game, but I'm not gonna play it again. You know what I mean? I'll keep the save game. I might pop it in every once in a while just to finish off the last boss, and then, just to feel like I achieved something for the day, and then go back to playing some other game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or like Zelda. But nowadays, it's like, it's amazing how much people can do with so little. Only if the gameplay is is slick, right? Like, but how much do you think this game's shelf life is determined by a few different factors, right? I was gonna say like esports is one, or and the cosmetics is another, and then the battle pass is another thing. But what do you guys think? Is that truly the a great determining? Not the word I'm using for. Is it a great barometer for success?
Mm, I don't know. Yeah, esports is like very like community driven, right? So because like for example, like CS:GO is popular, is still the best. You can say like it's still the most popular FPS out there because like it's community driven. The esports is like a multi-million-dollar business. People
Mm-hmm.
watch it like it's like football or something like that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And another thing is like cosmetics, to have it like a good shelf life or something like that. But another one also like I realize is also like maybe like, but this is very like it's sort of like a risk if like you're a game developer. I think like it's like story based games, like if you have good story, like maybe like The Last of Us,
Mm,
Oh
like
yeah,
yeah, if it's good, like people will remember you forever. They'll keep playing that game.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You're right. I guess. I mean, the replay value is there, right?
Yeah, the replay value
Yeah.
is there.
Mm.
I
And
don't.
also, I
Yeah.
mean, I think Dean, The Last of Us was a very good example, right? Where
Mhm.
the potential in the IP was then made into a TV show from
Oh
HBO, right?
yeah.
So
Mm.
So good.
plus, I mean, they were also smart in. Do we call it a remaster? Right?
Mm.
They re-released the game.
Oh, did
Yeah.
So
they? Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, they did.
Oh.
So that was like an additional tranche of
Mhm.
revenue coming in, right? So I, I mean, for me, I mean, I think it's. I think we've also spoken about it in the past, right? Where games, I mean, like you mentioned, like back in like on like the Super Nintendo and so on,
Hmm.
where sales is mostly within the first month, and then
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
get bored, keep
Yeah.
Yeah.
playing it. But I think shelf life it's an important factor now, right? Because as we see in like the fighting game community and see the fighting games that's coming out, right? These games from the hyper turbos and so on, they used to come
Mm-hmm.
out a year after 6 months, that kind of thing. But it's now you see like after so many seasons, it's like 7 8 years life for a
Mm.
single game.
Yeah.
So and I think it's more of, I mean, it could be, it's cost efficient because you
Yeah.
don't have to go back to the drawing board, right, to design something. And it also gives your development team time to craft the next iteration as you
Mhm.
keep your audiences busy with uh, newer newer season passes and so on.
Yeah.
So I'm really, I mean, I can only speak like in terms of like Street Fighter,
Mm.
where they took the, pardon the word, the screw up, right, from what happened in SF5
Yeah.
a lot to heart, and they really did put in the hours and the dollars to craft like what we have now in SF6, right? Who
Mm.
would have expected like a Yakuza-esque
Yeah.
Mhm.
2-in-1
Adventure
into
game,
the
right?
game, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that makes it, I mean, for me at least as a gamer, very appreciative, and
Mhm.
I'm willing to trade in dollars. I mean, I'm not super big on the. I don't totally agree on the battle pass and the season passes, but I will do
Mm.
it anyway because I don't want to be locked away from characters
Mhm.
Mm.
or stages. But I mean, I think it's only. I don't think there's like a single winning formula, but there are a few things where it's the right thing to do, and or
Mm-hmm.
should that be a question or not in the first place? Is there a right way to?
The thing is, I was gonna ask, like, because Belgium and Australia ruled in such a way against loot boxes, right, as gambling or a version
Mhm.
of gambling. I often wonder myself, like, because to me, Battle Pass, it makes great sense. Battle Pass and season passes, they incentivize my play. They get money for the developer, and it's
Mm,
a one shot sum of cash that everyone buys at the same time versus a loot box like the loot box strategy in CSGO was a very slow one, right? Like you
Mm.
don't know how many people are going to open these boxes. You get the boxes for free, but the key you have to pay for.
Yeah.
So it's the key redemption that really makes all the difference, right? And yet 11 years later, it's still making bank for them, right? And like you look at Dota 2, right? Like Valve they must have some genie working in their basement or something like that because they did it with Dota 2. Dota 2 is also one of those not very like what is there else to do in Dota other than get on the same map, run
Yeah.
one of 3 lanes, have 5 characters. I mean, you release new characters, sure, but and new cosmetics and all that. But really, the gameplay stayed the same. They don't do any other type of. There's no like side quest type of
Yeah.
custom game
Yeah.
that I know of that drives the narrative, right? So that was just like that's kind of weird. It's interesting that like they managed to do it, and like I see to me, I see like season pass and battle pass is the viable solution for the future for these gaming studios to avoid the ire of parents going like stop giving my kids stuff to gamble on. You know what I mean? Like I kind of get it. I as a if I was as a parent I would definitely think about it. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I think I would rather get a battle pass for my kid to play this free game, and and then I make the next battle pass conditional, right?
Yeah.
Let's see some damn A's and B's before we get the next battle pass. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think the loot box is on the way out as a result of this? Like,
Mm.
I mean, if I may go first, right? I
yeah,
think
go ahead, dude.
I mean, you see, again, I don't want to be starting any conspiracy or anything, right? But I
Go
think
ahead.
a lot of let's
Let's do it.
just
Let's
go
do
ahead
it.
with it. So I mean, I think overall, I think like what we discussed in terms of loot boxes, if it's cosmetics, is fine as long as it doesn't affect gameplay, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times where there are several things going on here where I think when governments step in to say what a consumer can and cannot do and deem it as gambling, right? I think it kind of robs the responsibility of the consumer and who we are, and
Okay.
also taking responsibility. I think that's one key factor where I think even if you are a parent, right, and honestly, if you're blaming game developers and game publishers for enabling this kind of mechanisms, I might be speaking out of turn, but I think you're not taking some responsibility in doing what you have to do, which is parenting and teaching kids about okay, these things do exist. They might be good or they might be. I mean, everything has two coins to it, right?
Yeah.
Two sides to a coin, right? So it's not. I think, and it goes back to even things like data privacy and so on, where we make so much noise about oh, this person has my know what time I went take a shit at 2 p.m. But again, showing me this suit or something that I might be interested in, but we have to take some responsibility as a consumer, right? It's like you can show it to me, but you gotta be ballsy and say that maybe I won't buy this. We cannot be blaming institutions
people.
or companies, other people for our own agency, if you get what I mean. So that's
Yeah.
one bit, right? And I think secondly, a lot of governments don't know how to tax what is basically digital. So
Yeah,
there
they
is
don't.
money. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't. So when it comes to loot boxes, right, there's money, there's tranches of money coming in. And obviously, this is happening within a certain jurisdiction in a country, right? So it's the same thing with vapes. It's the same thing with a
Yeah.
lot of new
Unregulated.
products, right? When money comes in, it's an attractive proposition for the country, but nobody knows how to tax it. So rather than doing due diligence, oftentimes one side of the story could be that because they don't understand it, so let's block something that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be that too. But again, there are a lot of different factors that come into play, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you with that. When the government like steps in, it's like they probably like have nothing else better to do, or or they just want to like, hey,
Just
like,
want some of that money.
yeah, throw some money in my pocket, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that. Of course, governments need money to operate, right?
For
Like,
sure.
but it's just
Mm,
that, yeah, generally they don't always operate in the interest of the many, right? They just operate in the interest of the few.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that.
I mean, loot boxes, like, if like, if it's like part of the game, like, you know, CSGO or like Apex, like, if it keeps the game alive, then uh, it's gonna be there regardless. Like CS2 is coming out
Oh yeah.
next year, right?
No, this year.
Oh,
End of
this year,
summer. Yeah.
end of the year. Oh,
No,
okay.
end of
Well,
summer. So it should be
yeah.
out by August, I think,
Oh shit, that's
or
tight.
September.
Oh, another game to get addicted.
Oh no, dude, I'm so happy. You know
Are you
why?
doing that?
Because your old CSGO skins are going to carry over.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so angry
That's
with
cool.
myself because I sold a op Viper. Is a pit
I.
Viper op,
Uh-huh.
and someone I won it in a CSGO lounge bet website, right? I won a
Yeah.
bet, and then the skins exchanged to me with this op pit Viper, and it had a nameplate on it, and the
Mm.
nameplate. I don't know whether I'm going to get canceled for saying this, but it says "fist my dick hole." I was like,
Just might need to bleep this.
this is the best
Yeah, that's
AWP I've ever seen in the
so
game.
cool.
Every time I dropped something like that for someone else in game, they were like, "What the hell, dude?" But hey, man, if that gun had stat track on it, I would have had like 10,000 kills on that AWP for sure. Man.
Mm.
It was mad. Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, it's kind of like what happened in the 70s, I think, or the 80s when heavy metal and rock music came under fire by Al Gore and his wife, Tipper Gore. And
Mm.
really, it's down to how good are you as a parent. And if you're
Yeah.
not good at parenting and you're just letting your kids go willy nilly, then of course they're going to spend oodles amount of money and all that kind of stuff. And they're going to ruin your credit card and your credit score or whatever. But also the fact that, like, video games used to be as reward thing for me, right?
Mm.
Parents, my mom was like, finish your homework, do the thing you need to do, washing up, do the chores or whatever, go and do a sport and all that kind of stuff. If you got spare time, there's video games, right? I was allowed to watch TV. Allowed to watch the 6 p.m. news in Canada, and 7 to 8, I'm allowed to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then that's it. That's it. It's homework time. Go and read a book time or whatever, and all that kind of stuff, and then maybe on the weekends you get some video game time. You know what I mean? So I guess things have changed so much in that video games have now become part of that. Give the kid something to do, right? Like give the kid an iPad, give your kid your phone, and all that kind of stuff, right? Like that now. Like, do you think parents are struggling to catch up?
Yeah, kids. I generally believe like kids nowadays are either they mature really early, or they want to be adults so bad they kind of forget like being a child, you know.
Yeah.
And things like if we're being in context right now, it's um like buying like loot boxes or battle pass. Like they want like, oh, I need a credit card. Oh, mom, can I borrow a credit card? But like when I was a kid, I don't have this privilege, you know. Like
Oh no, not at all.
yeah, I have like a couple like bucks in my money, and like I have to think like, oh, do I need to buy like a new pen or some shit, you know? Yeah, and like kids like they want to be cool. They want to like, hey, I want to have like an iPhone, you know, and like, why? You're just a kid. Like, just don't have a phone, you know. But we can never understand that because um we're of a different generation, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
we're getting left behind really quick, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely are.
I remember another stupid anecdotal story, but my wife and at the time she was my wife. We were at Laoyat for a Street Fighter tournament,
Mm.
and I let this little kid use my stick, and he was playing like with his other friends and some other people on the demo machine, right? and he didn't have a phone, but he had one of them cheap Chinese walkie-talkie watches.
Mm.
It has a SIM card on the inside, so your parents can call you wherever you are,
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
and you can read SMSs and all that. And you can take like a 0.3 megapixel photo, which is the worst photo of all. But I thought it was so cool. You know what I mean? Like that. Like his parents decided, like, no, you're not getting an iPhone. You're getting this dinky
Watching a
watch.
0.3.
And his dad or his mom called him, and he literally had to go like this and then speak to it like that. I was like, the 80s called, and they want their technology back. But it was cute as hell. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, yo, we really are being left, behind the times at this stage, right? Like, I think nobody writes into parenting books how to deal with this.
Mm.
Oh, maybe there's an idea out there. Somebody who's an author probably want to do that.
Yeah, ex Google Stadia developers.
Yes, Google Stadia developers.
Yeah.
Google
Now's your,
Stadia
now's your- now's your time.
Yeah, it's like, you got too much time on your hands now, bro. Cool. I think, we kind of got to the end already. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
we
shit.
gave a bit of our final thoughts already, right? Like, I think, generally speaking, the summation is Battle Pass and Season Pass. They alleviate some of the concerns. But nonetheless, right, if your kids are spending, as much time as I'm spending at video games on the weekend when my wife's not around, it's like 6 whole hours straight. It's like, you got a problem. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I just got to straighten them out, right?
yeah. It's like, unplug the machine, go and read a book. I said, but Mom, I didn't get to the save point yet. Well, nobody gives a fuck about your save point. Yeah, so, hey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for
Josh,
having me.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
so much
you.
of your time and arranging this and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think if we have any more gaming related topics, which of course we will, and we need some advice, maybe we'll bring you back again.
Hey, yeah, anytime, man. Just hit me up,
All right, great. All right, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
And
All right.
we're out.
All right.
You guys.
We're out, guys.
Over and out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.